Most YouTube advice out there will turn you into a content slave. Post daily, chase every trend, optimize everything for the algorithmic gods. And if you follow it, you'll end up spending 40 hours a week on making a video that don't actually build your business. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you why most YouTube advice accidentally turns business owners into content creators. What changes when you think like a business owner instead of a YouTuber, and the 3 shifts I'm testing to build a channel that actually serves my business without consuming my life. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but I'm not interested in creating another job that just consumes my life. And by the end, you'll understand why you don't need to become a content machine to make YouTube work for your business. When I started my first business, nobody told me how to actually run a business using social media. And almost all of the advice I got from people were people who are reliant on getting views to make money. And if you're a business owner trying to use YouTube to market your business, and you go on YouTube trying to search of what to do, most of the advice you're going to get is from content creators. And content creators, they make money from views, ad revenue, brand deals, courses, teaching other people how to get views. For them, the math is quite simple. More views equals more money. So their advice is designed for that model. Post constantly, chase trends, optimize for the algorithm, retention, editing, brain rot content, everything to get more views. And if you're trying to build a YouTube channel, that advice works because you're getting more views, ergo you're getting more ad revenue. But the problem is if you're trying to build a business that uses YouTube as marketing tool, then these are completely different goals with completely different strategies. So what happens when you follow content creators' advice as a business owner? You are accidentally becoming a content creator. And I'm not saying content creators are bad, but you will end up using all your time for content creation. And unless you have a huge business and a huge team to do all that, you'll end up spending 40 hours a week on production, editing, thumbnails, optimizing for the algorithm, all that rumble. Now you build yourself a fancy content prison and you won't have time for your business, your family, painting your little Warhammer figurines or whatever. And you're more focused on upload schedule, the algorithm, the retention metrics, and how many views you're getting. And the worst part, all that doesn't actually generate clients. You're getting views, but you're not building a business. And I used to be that person. I've tried to run a business with a content creator mindset, and that didn't work. And when I started to realize that, I changed my approach and I actually started getting clients. And the people I work with had the same kind of mindset that I had. They were trying to start and run a business with a content creator mindset. They were just spending time on all the shit that you don't want to be spending time on when you're running a business. They were focused on how the video looked and how the editing was and what the hook was. And don't get me wrong, all of that has a purpose, but you shouldn't be focusing solely on that as a business owner trying to use YouTube to market your business. So what happens when you change your mindset from being a content creator to being a business owner? A lot of stuff changes. Let's take a look here. A content creator mindset is success equals views, subscribers, watch time. Don't get me wrong, all of these have their place when you're running a business. There are metrics that you can use to know if you're going in the right direction. Strategy: post frequently, chase trends, optimize for the algorithm. Time investment: 30 to 40 hours per week on production and ideation and creating videos and all of that stuff. Goal: keep people on YouTube watching your content. Revenue through the platform as sponsorships, brand deals, all of that stuff. Let's take it to business owner mindset. Success equals qualified leads, client conversation or conversion, revenue. Strategy: strategic content that solves a specific problem for specific people. Time investment: 6 to 10 hours per week on high leverage content. Goal: get people off YouTube and into your business. Revenue through your actual business, client services, products, whatever it is you're trying to sell via YouTube. You see the fundamental difference here. Content creators are trying to keep people on YouTube and on your channel in your video for as long as possible. And a business owner is trying to use YouTube to solve a problem and then lead them into your business where they hopefully buy your service, your product, or whatever it is. So in short, a content creator needs maximum reach. You need the right reach. A content creator works for YouTube and you use YouTube as a tool. And this is why following content creator advice for running a business ends up just destroying your motivation, your revenue, your time, and potentially your business. You're optimizing for metrics that doesn't matter to your business. Viewers don't pay your bills unless you have a billion views. clients do. Watch time doesn't build your business, trust do. I know it sounds a bit cliche, but how the fuck are you supposed to pay your bills with trust? If people don't trust you, they don't buy from you. And I might get crucified and burned here, but subscriber doesn't matter. For most of business owners out there, it's just for their own ego. Like it feels good to have a lot of followers and a lot of subscribers, man. It makes you feel like, yes, I am important. Other people see me as important. That's why they follow me. But when running a business and you focus on revenue, subscriber count doesn't matter. One thing that does matter is your email list, the size of your email list. Once you understand the difference, everything changes about how you approach YouTube. So what should you focus on instead of just getting mass views? You should focus on building relationship with the people you're solving a problem for. So what does that look like? Instead of chasing viral content and the latest trend and hacks and shit like that, you are creating content that actually help people and attract your ideal clients. So instead of needing fresh viral hits every week, you are building a library of content that stacks upon each other and building trust over time, attracting your right clients that wants to buy from you. And actually my first very client I got on Twitter was a person who had been following me for quite a long time and seen my content. And he over time built a relationship. That sounds weird, building a relationship with me now. He built trust in what I am and what I represent via watching my content and consuming my content. And that's why he ended up buying from me instead of all the other guys I was competing with. When you do your content right, you don't need sales call. All of your content is doing all of your sales calling and trust building for you. So when somebody decides to work with you, they are right in there. You don't need to jump on a sales call trying to convince them or something like that. They buy from you and you start working with them because you build enough trust over time. So when running my old business, I noticed a pattern when talking to some of my clients. I asked them what made you work with me. And a lot of the times they actually referenced some of my from my perspective, most horrible content. And when I say that, I was in a mindset that you need to have a crystal clear camera. You need to have like pro graded audio and fancy editing and visuals and shit like that. But for most of my clients, they actually resonated. I hate that word, resonated. They actually cared more about the content that was very unpolished, but they were very clear in the way that I presented a problem that actually helped them. So my point here is you don't need a fancy $1,000 setup. If you have clear audio and you have a clear way to present your problem you're trying to solve for your clients or your viewers, that's fine. You don't need any more than just that. And working with clients and knowing what they actually liked about my content, I realized that my clients weren't looking for a performer. They were looking for someone they could trust and trust with their money and time to solve a specific problem for them. Like when I share a system that I'm testing, people see the logic. When I admit something flopped, they trust me more. When I show my actual process instead of like a polished version, they feel like they could actually work with me. For example, like in this video, I have a lot of like stutter where I stumble upon my words, and instead of just cutting that out, it might. Of course, in an extent, if I'm doing that all the time and the video is like 30 minutes long and 15 minutes of that is just me like stumbling upon my words, it would most likely annoy you guys. But I'm trying to keep this as real as possible to like have a feel with you guys being on the same process as me. Hey, if you want to become a full-time YouTube content creator, I'm not shaming anybody here. I'm just trying to lay out the difference between the two. And for me personally, I've been in the content creator mindset and only in the content creator mindset, and it took way too much time of my out of my business, out of my life, and I ended up burning out from it. But if you're a business owner who wants to use YouTube to get more clients without becoming a content slave, then you need to look at the advice out there with a skeptical lens. You don't need to become a content machine. You don't need to become a content machine. You need to be strategic. God damn, that's a hard word. To build trust with the right people. The main focus here is to get the right views, not just to get views. So how does YouTube actually look from a business perspective? So I'll put it up on the screen here, but the main thing is you are spending less time on YouTube and more time on your business, which to me sounds pretty damn good. And that's the direction and the strategy I'm using. I don't want to be spending any more than 5 hours max on YouTube per week. And I want to maximize my time to get as much revenue to then further move my business in the right direction, and my life for that matter. If you're interested in getting to know how I'm going to get less views, but the right views and earning more money, then join my newsletter down below.